All right, you guys, we're starting off in this case, guys, with lesson 1.2. It's two-step equations in this case, guys, part 2, or maybe multi-step equations in this case. Students in this case can use inverse operations to solve multi-step equations. There it is, multi-step equations here. And we are working in this case, guys, using inverse operations, right? Reciprocal and distributive property. So let's go ahead and start off in this case, guys, directions. And first example. Now this is very similar to what we had worked on previously in this case, guys. The only thing different is that we actually have to do some distribution here. Now when it comes to distribution in this case, guys, notice how we have a number on the outside of the parentheses, in this case the 3. So what I'm going to do in this case, guys, is I'm actually going to go ahead and grab that 3 in this case, guys, and we're going to go ahead and multiply it inside of the parentheses. And multiply inside of the parentheses, right? That would actually give me 3 times a y plus 7 times a 3, right? Notice in this case, guys, once again, the 3 is that number we have on the outside of the parentheses. And then that should give me, in this case, guys, 3 times y is 3y. Plus 3 times 7 is 21. And we're going to go ahead and bring down that 24. All right, bring down that 24. We'll just write it down. Now, same idea in this case, guys. Solving for the variable in this case, I mentioned to you guys that we do PEMDAS but inverted. Where in this case, we first start off with anything that's being added or subtracted. And then I move on to anything that's being multiplied or divided. And most of the time, it's the number or the coefficient, in this case, guys, in front of the variable. So I'm going to go ahead and get rid, in this case, guys, of the 21 first. And it's adding. So we're going to go ahead and do minus 21 and minus 21 on both sides. All right, that gives us, in this case, guys, a 3y is equal to 3. From there, in this case, guys, we saw that the 3 and the y were multiplying, right? So this is multiplication. Inverse of multiplication, in this case, guys, is division. So we're going to go ahead and end up dividing by 3 on both sides, and y in this case is going to equal a 1. So y in this case, guys, is a 1, right? So just to show the steps in this case, guys, show the steps here once again. First, we did distributive property. So this is distributive property. Distributive property. So we distribute, right? And then second step in this case, guys, is we subtract 21 and subtract 21. And third step is to divide by 3. So we're going to go ahead and do this pattern in this case, guys, multiple times in this case, or a couple times, not multiple, couple. So let's go ahead and move on to the next one, guys. And here is the next one, right? Next one in this case, guys, I have a 4 times a 2z minus 8 is equal to 48. First steps in this case, guys, once again, the first thing we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and distribute, right? And I'm actually going to distribute, in this case, the 4 into the parentheses. All right, so let's go ahead and do that first. Go ahead and grab that number here, guys. Grab that number here. And we're going to go ahead and multiply it inside. Now, notice in this case, guys, whenever we multiply them, we actually multiply it to the coefficient. So it's 4, I put it in parentheses, times a 2z plus 4 times a negative 8. Right, negative 8. All right, so this here, 4 times 2 in this case, guys, is going to give us an 8z. And in this case, 4 times a negative 8 is going to give me a negative 32. And I'm going to go ahead and bring down the 48 in this case, guys. Let's go ahead and bring that down. Bring it down. All right, so we did distributive property, guys. Now let's go ahead and move everything to one side and leave the variable alone. So first step, guys, add 32 to both sides and add 32 to both sides. That would actually give us an 8z is equal to 48 plus 32 is actually going to give me 80. So step number 2 in this case, guys, was to add 32 to both sides. All right. Next step in this case, guys, between the 8 and the z, those are actually multiplying. So opposite of that, guys, is to divide by 8. So z in this case, guys, is actually equal to 10. And that would actually be our final answer. So step 3 in this case, guys, is to divide by 8 on both sides. On both sides. All right. So that is problem B. Problem B in this case, guys. Problem B. Next one in this case, guys, problem C. Problem C. So same idea in this case, guys. Same idea here. Once again, a pattern in this case, guys, that we're seeing is that we're distributing first, then we're moving to add or subtract, and then we're dividing. So let's go ahead and distribute this out. Let's go ahead and distribute this out and distribute it out. All right. So then it's going to be, once again, 2 times a 3z plus 2 times a negative 5. All right, I didn't color code it for us here, but let's just show it. So the 2 in this case, guys, is here. The 3 is there. And the negative 5 is there. All right. So 2 times 3 in this case, guys, gives me 6. So that's going to be 6z. And then 2 times negative 5 is negative 10. And that there is going to be equal to 38. All right. Once again, in this case, guys, the goal here is to leave z alone. So we're going to go ahead and do inverse operations here. I'm going to go ahead and first start by adding 10 to both sides and adding 10. Then we have in this case, guys, a 6z is going to be equal to a 48. From there, in this case, guys, 6 times z is, they're multiplying. So inverse of that is division. So we're going to go ahead and divide by 6 and divide by 6. So z in this case, guys, is going to be equal to an 8. All right? Is going to be equal to 8.